Hey, this is Seth Montgomery with Charleston Southern Athletics, and you're listening to Inside Blitz with Levon Kirkland.
Hello, welcome back to the Wyatt Studio. This is the Inside Blitz with Levon Kirkland, and we're doing our college football preview. And up next, we got Seth Montgomery with Charleston Southern University. Seth, how you doing, my man?
Not too bad. How about you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thanks for asking. I'm going to give you a little icebreaker question, okay? Is that fine with you?
Hey, go ahead and bring it on.
We're gonna dig really deep here, okay? You ready?
All right.
All right, here we go. What was your least favorite food as a kid?
Oh, that is actually a fantastic one, and my parents can attest to this. Cheese.
Cheese, really?
Yeah.
A kid?
For some reason I just did not like it. Apparently I ordered it everywhere up until I was about 3 or 4 years old.
Right.
And then we went to a restaurant one day. My parents told me that I ordered a grilled cheese sandwich there. It came, showed up at the table. I looked at it and said, "There's cheese in here."
Wow.
And refused to eat it. And yeah, ever since then, it's just has not been one of my things.
Wow. So you're saying no cheese pizza, no cheeseburgers, nothing like that?
I mean, I'm not going to eat an all-cheese pizza, but if there's other toppings on there, I'm okay with that.
Okay.
But yeah, no cheeseburgers, nothing like that.
I think we just broke some news.
Yeah, that is breaking news. It really is. Okay, now let's get into the meat and potatoes of this interview. Now, can you give us a brief summary of the upcoming season?
Yeah, looking at this upcoming season, if you just look at our schedule, obviously the first 4 games that we have on the schedule are going to be a huge test, especially with our first year head coach Autry Denson. We play 2 ranked opponents that are currently ranked in the top 25 in both polls.
Wow.
And we have a trip against South Carolina, and then we also have a road trip against our local rival here, the Citadel. So it's going to be a big test right away in the season with Coach Denson. But overall, it's a very young team. We returned 49 letter winners from last year's squad, so there's a lot of youth and inexperience. But at the same time, you also have some steady hands, especially on defense with J.D. Sosby, Eddie King, and a few of those guys working in the linebacker core. Offense, it's a huge shift that we've had to make because we've been a kind of a spread option, triple option dating back to the Jamie Chadwell days and with our former head coach, Mark Tucker. Mm-hmm. But Coach Denson brought in what he's called the air raid with an attitude. And from watching the team in the spring and this fall, they're throwing the ball around out there. Our quarterbacks are actually having to make sure they're icing their arms after practice because as soon as they step on the field, they're throwing it.
Well, you know what, though? I think that's probably a good recruiting tool as far as your quarterbacks and receivers that are coming in. Will they be excited about playing in this offense?
The way that Coach actually described it in our media interview this week is that all these kids coming out of high school, they're used to playing in 7-on-7. So
right.
They're used to getting out there and throwing the ball around, catching the ball, playing in open space, and that's what he's hoping that this offense does. Recruited very heavily, got 4 receivers, I believe, in this recruiting class, and a quarterback. All of our quarterbacks are sophomores or younger, so there's a lot of competition, and they want to make sure the best ones playing each week. And a lot of our receivers are young as well, so everyone just kind of wants to get out there and get the ball.
So should we expect a big season from Cameron Brown?
Cameron Brown is kind of the veteran of the group. I kind of tease him from time to time and just say that he's getting older and that he looks old out there, and he kind of laughs and agrees with me. But he's back. He battled through an injury last season, but he's looked really good. The biggest thing that he brings is he brings that size to the outside, and he brings the experience. He's finished in the top 10 in FCS his first 2 years that he was on the field in yards per catch. So you have someone that's not afraid to go downfield and go up for the ball. And just from what I've seen with this offense, there's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to be quick, but he seems like he's their go-to guy, especially when it comes to third down situations as well as near the goal line.
Tell us a little bit more about Coach Denson, his background, and why fans should be excited about having Coach Denson at Charleston Southern.
Coach Denson, I mean, you don't really have to do too much to find a lot about him. The all-time leading running back at Notre Dame, was drafted in the NFL, played with a number of teams, did some internships with the NFL, has a lot of connections all over the place. And he actually just came to us as the running backs coach from Notre Dame. Actually, one of the reasons why he was so late into the hiring process is because Notre Dame just would not stop winning. They ended up winning some playoffs. So we had to wait for him to finish up there before we could officially announce him.
Thank goodness for Clemson.
Absolutely. Even though he might have wanted the ring, we're glad we got him on campus a week sooner.
That's right.
But the big thing with Coach Denson that he's brought a lot of excitement and energy to the program, and it's something that they've needed, especially when you have a young group like we do this year. There's so much excitement going on just with him, the attitude he's brought, the coaching staff he's brought, and even the improvements that we've been making around the facility with the field, with the brand new video board that we're putting up, post-game fireworks that we're talking about after every game, building and getting back into the community. There's a lot of stuff that he has done, and he's been willing to do it. He's willing to talk with anyone, willing to just speak football. I mean, he's very approachable, and we loved having him.
Well, you know what? I thought the name looked familiar and sound familiar, but I wasn't quite sure it was the same running back from Notre Dame. That's amazing.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So what drew you guys to Coach Denson?
I think the biggest thing that we look at, so we are a Southern Baptist school, obviously, so the faith-based perspective is a huge impact. And one of the things that Coach Denson brought, and is actually on the helmets this year, is something called GHEA, G-H-E-A. And he instructs his guys, and he's coached them and worked with them, that they're going to bring a God-honoring effort with a God-honoring attitude every time they step out on that field.
Like that.
And they want to do that in their life as well. So that's one of the things that he brought. And just, you sit down and you talk with him, and one of the first things he brings up is God. It's something that he always kind of refers and goes back to because it's such a huge part in his life. And that's what he's trying to instill with the guys here in Charleston Southern as well.
Oh, well, that is amazing. You guys are trying to make a difference through football, just like the South Carolina Football Hall of Fame. That's really awesome. Now, can you tell me something about Charleston Southern University that's wonderful that I would not know about?
Looking at it, Charleston Southern University, you talk about it. It's the Southern Baptist University that people talk about here at Charleston, but the biggest thing about us is the family aspect. Mm-hmm. One of the series that we did with each one of our head coaches this year was we talked about faith, family, their sports, and Charleston Southern University, because they all tie in together. It works with the recruiting, how they approach every day here at Charleston Southern. So the family aspect is so huge. Our men's basketball team had shirts that said family on it this year. All of our athletes go out to support each of our programs. We had a soccer match the other day that you had the entire football team there, you had the baseball team there, and you had men's basketball there. And campus really hadn't even opened yet. So all those guys had already come back, and they were all at the game. So everyone's there, and it really is a family aspect. You walk down the hallway, and you're greeted by the professors, the student athletes, and the staff. And it's really a unique experience being here, is the fact that you walk by and you know someone because you've already interacted with them in so many different ways.
Wow, that's incredible. And really, that's what athletics is all about. That family closeness and that faith. We really thank you so much, Seth, for being here today. We really appreciate your time and energy. And before you leave, how's the best way fans can follow the program and how to get tickets?
Best way would be to visit our website at csusports.com, as well as our Twitter account at CSU Sports, Facebook's at CSU Sports, Instagram is at CSU Bucks. We wish we could have gotten at CSU Sports for Instagram, but unfortunately Colorado State got it before we could.
Right, man.
Yeah, the negotiations have fallen through. We have not been able to find a way to get it. But those are probably the primary ways. We actually have an entire social media wall on our website, csusports.com, as to how you can follow every single one of our teams, as well as to get tickets on our website as well. We actually have put out a release this week on how fans can go ahead and buy their tickets for our game against Citadel.
Awesome.
So that's out there, and we are getting ready for that game down the road as well. But that's probably the best way to go ahead and follow and keep up with the Bucks.
Well, thank you so much for your time and energy. And I need to ask you, do you still not like cheese?
You can ask my wife. It's still not my favorite thing. I will tolerate it.
Right.
But she eats it for me. My 15-month-old son eats it for me. So
right.
They take care of it, so I don't have to worry about it.
There you go.
Make sure you got some pepperoni on that pizza.
Yes, sir.
Well, thank you again. We really appreciate it. Have a good season this year, okay?
Hey, thank you.
All right.
Seth, go
Bye.
Bucks.
Take care.
Good luck.
All right, Seth Montgomery from Charleston Southern University. Great interview, guys, and y'all stick in there with us, and we'll be right back. Inside Blitz with Levon Kirkland.